So I'm going to give you a very, very bullish case for the market going forward. Personally, I think we have been in a bull market in Bitcoin for a while, and I think that will translate into total 2, total 3 as altcoins eventually get more and more sunlight. Comes from the ETF approval, comes from what happens with gold, obviously the inflows of that over time, scarcity halving, elections, all that kind of stuff, and also cycle methodology. I have spoke a lot about why and how I invest using the cycles just due to history, kind of when I came into the market in 2016, when I also took profit in 2021. It's all due to timeframes, and we're kind of lined up to the bullish start of the market. Personally, things could change. This time could be different due to the ETF. Now, if you're new around here, don't forget to like the video and comment if you are interested in more psychological content around this sort of stuff, because I am more than happy to talk about it. I do talk about it a lot in my Patreon in terms of cycle methodology and the type of assets I go for. Now, you can see on the screen here, there's a little arrow around this little line. This was a historic break. Total 2, I'm showing it at the minute. Big, massive structure break. Now, the total market cap as well had already broken this structure a long time ago due to the fact of Bitcoin being the more severe weight here. Total 3 looks a little bit different, but you can kind of see that these are the lower cap coins and we exclude Ethereum. However, when you look back, look at this level here. You know, this, let me just make that a little bit neat because it looks a bit shit. You can see this level here, it has had a retest and we went into that situation. Now, when we look and zoom out on this, it's a big area when you zoom and you think, well, we've broken out of a region, a huge level. When we go back in time, we always use that word hindsight. Oh, look, but imagine if we just invested there. Imagine if we just invested when the EMA 21 crossed over, all that kind of stuff, right? This is sort of giving me those sort of vibes that we should be looking at this area, this structure point, when we go all the way across, by the way. We've acted as a level of support. We've flipped it. Huge, right? So when we digest what has been happening in the market, look at Chainlink as a great example, right? Broken out of this consolidation range. Back from a year consolidation, bang, up, retracement. We're now breaking through another one. So there's a few out there that look like this, looking really, really good. Now let's talk about the ETFs. Now, for some reason, people in crypto think this is not going well. This is going so well, personally. Another factor, BlackRock's ETF, IBIT, is the 5th biggest in 2024 out of every single ETF in the entire stock market as well. Huge, right? So Grayscale holds the most weight. That will eventually decrease as I think BlackRock, Fidelity, etc. will take some of that market share. We've had 1.6 pretty much billion going into the ETF market. That's a good start. That is a fantastic start. Now, it's not going to be all roses and freaking all kinds of good stuff straight away. It never is. But when you look at the fact of cycle methodology and that element alone, you start seeing green candles start to print over time due to the fact of halving narrative, scarcity, people buying, all that kind of interest coming back, as well as obviously interest on YouTube. You got a huge clientele pot that have never been interested ever in Bitcoin will now be interested. That will then lead to more and more people buying in with the inflows, buying into it because of trust and the fact that BlackRock, etc. But there appears to be a lot of like fractions within the crypto market saying, well, BlackRock are just going to dump it to get the cheap Bitcoin. I don't think it works like that. When you've got clients already investing and buying into the product, why would they crash it? Because probably their most loyal people have already bought into it. Kind of an obvious fact here. 3.3 billion alone is already in BlackRock. That is a solid start in my opinion. And this is obviously new. Good start. But let's talk about history. Gold, right? Gold ETF came out. It also did very, very well. However, when we look back in time and we look at this, so obviously it's not the greatest, but you can kind of see when it all kind of got approved and listed in November 2004. Bloody hell, get my words out. A huge run. Obviously within this situation, there was a recession, a very big banking recession, which created a bit of panic. Where do people put their money? Gold. Now, another bullish factor here. I'm just going to put this point out there. We've not had a recession for a while. Just saying. When people panic a little bit about money, people tend to move their money. They move their money into places where they feel more secure. Now, when you think not too long ago, we had a little bit of a banking crisis, didn't we? Remember, start of last year. All of a sudden, things started to rocket. Now, obviously, this kind of goes in tandem a little bit with Bitcoin chart. When Bitcoin, and I've always put this question in, if it bounces, what does Bitcoin do? When I look at gold and I just see this kind of level here, we've broken above it and we're still kind of sitting a little bit above it. It's not the greatest bit of levels, but you can kind of get the idea. We've had a big deviation. We melted back. We're kind of here. If we do continue going higher, what does Bitcoin do? What if Bitcoin chart starts to trend like this and I go back in time and go, well, what if this time is different? What if, I know, crazy. What if this cycle goes on for longer because of that situation? We don't know what's going to happen, do we? This is why you need to buy as far away from all-time high, stick with your conviction, take little bits off as you go up and see what happens, because we might be in a situation for the first time ever in our lifetimes that we have an actual recession at some point where there will be a sort of a fluff in the market and people will genuinely look at Bitcoin as a place to put their money away from fiat. Just saying. So that alone gives me kind of bullish vibes, obviously, which is then leading to all these mad price predictions that you tend to get, where people are looking at the Bitcoin chart and they're like, well, maybe Bitcoin can go up to whatever price. Now, if I look at where I think Bitcoin's going to go, if we're going to go, and let me just make this chart a little bit neater, if we're looking at where history tells us in terms of Fibonacci, we could be looking at some levels up here. The 2.638 has been tapped in the past, you know, when you're utilizing cycle methodology. Also, so is this. Wouldn't surprise me, though, if it does continue going up to like 150, 200K. Now, that sounds mental, I know. But when you look at how far things go, obviously that also includes diminishing returns, it's still a pretty good gain. That would significantly change the dynamic of the market. It will significantly change what dominance. Dominance will probably go up and then it will go down. If that then leads to more money going into altcoins, it will then create more wealth over time. And then eventually over time, we've got, say, 3 trillion as the market top. That could well be 6 or 9 trillion or even 12 trillion, depending on where we go. Pretty scary. And when we think of it, what if there is a genuine element here where this cycle methodology is just running in the exact same fashion as it was, but maybe a bit longer? And if we do get a recession at any point, will people panic and go, I don't want to hold cash anymore, I want to hold gold, Bitcoin, silver, whatever? Maybe. Huge factor. And I think people are forgetting it. So as a bullish case, that is pretty bullish. There's obviously bearish factors included on this. Obviously, it's not going to just go up straight overnight, obviously. It's not financial advice in any way, shape or form, but you've got to think of the bigger picture. The bigger picture is more money coming in from different people. Green candles, in my opinion, are the biggest marketing tool to get people in. We've not had, in my opinion, that factor yet. We've not had that, oh my God, Bitcoin, oh my God, this coin, that coin, that, you know, some coins do rocket, they get hype and they go up in value and you make wealth. But when the big boys go, BlackRock, the Bloomberg terminal will blow up. All that kind of stuff in terms of media pressure, getting you to buy, telling you how to buy. And then you're going to get Granny Gladys sitting on their settee going, I've got an account with BlackRock, let's buy some Bitcoin, let's go. You just don't know where it's going to go. So that is my entire bullish take on the market. Thinking that January 2024 is the bull trigger ETF narrative. We've got halving coming up. We've got a presidential election coming up. Other catalysts of the market could well be created within that time frame. Okay? So, if you like my stuff, let me know. And yeah, let me know what you think.